I did think I'd make one other comment. It struck me. I stand remiss for not noting one other thing, which is one of the areas where I think there's tremendous opportunity for the interaction of dynamic modeling on the one hand with statistical modeling. The other is dynamic models as ways of creating synthetic ground truth data to test statistical models. So here we have a dynamic model which may not be terribly privileged in the sense we know it's a great representation, but we use it to spot characteristic shortcomings or to assess the accuracy of certain statistical methods. And we do this a lot. We have a West Nile particle filtering project, and one of the ways that we're working with that is to actually generate synthetic ground truth data and test testability of statistical models, trying to understand the impact of wind speed, rainfall, and temperature, among other things, on the accuracy of mosquito count track measurements. And we're doing that to inform a quite detailed particle filter model where data comes in through the summer on a weekly basis from mosquito traps to try to understand the underlying mosquito population. And in this whole area of using a dynamic model to test, evaluate study designs, or test or evaluate statistical, the reliability of certain statistical measures, certain proxies or surrogates for data, I think that's a big opportunity, and it's a very straightforward process. Statisticians are very comfortable with it. Often they call it simulation experiments. And it can lend a lot of insight into what's a reliable measure, et cetera. And because you have the underlying ground truth from the simulation model, from the dynamic model, you can test the statistic in a more thorough way than you would be if you're operating empirical data where you don't know the underlying true situation that gave rise to it. So it can be a very effective way of helping to improve your understanding of the performance of certain statistical measures. So it's another big way statistics can work together with dynamic modeling very fruitfully, where it's not merely dynamic modeling and beneficiary are both working together. It's dynamic modeling helping to improve and inform choice of statistical methods. An example would be we do a tremendous amount of work with administrative data in Canada. We're a single payer health system, so we have data for the entire province of people's trajectories in terms of their life course, birth certificates through death certificates, and people's contact with the care system, their pharmaceuticals prescribed, their operations performed, their diagnoses, episodes of care, etc. And in this context, there's often certain statistical measures which are used to assess as surrogate measures to guess when somebody has a certain type of condition that's not directly indicated with a clear diagnosis. So you might deduce from the pharmaceuticals they've been prescribed, or the number of doctor's visits where a certain classification has been in place as to what their status is. And we can use dynamic models to assess the reliability of these so-called administrative data algorithms, which I think are similar to what's done in the States with Medicare, Medicaid, or VA data, actually. VA data can be at least similar large-scale databases. Anyway, so statistical methods can also be informed, choice of statistical methods can be informed by tested against the dynamic models, where the dynamic models serve as kind of synthetic ground truth to produce plausible test cases for the statistical methods.